Thank you for joining us once again on Tissueworld Television. I'm your host, Michael Jackson. With us now in our Tissueworld studio, Fanis Papakostas, who is the chairman of the European Tissue Symposium, who presented a really intriguing paper to us here on day one, really on the future of the tissue industry in many individual respects. But it's some interesting research that you had going there. Fanis, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Michael. I'm glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir. The key takeaways from your presentation.
Yeah, there are two major subjects that one has to remember.
Right.
One is that the role of ETS is enlarging because there are more challenges for the industry coming up.
Yes.
Updates in the EU regulation, competition, scarcity of resources, energy costs and things like that. And secondly is that we have deepened our scientific knowledge in comparing our hand towels products versus the other competitive categories like the jet air dryers, which until recently it was up to the level of laboratory studies.
Yes.
And then we encourage the scientific world to go further and come out with really scientific results, I say real life results, and which have confirmed the advantages in terms of hygiene of the hand towels versus the jet air dryers.
And you've done this in association with a number of universities as well from European bases.
This is what we did. Basically, we didn't do much inside the study, but what we did was we have encouraged world-class scientists to go further with the research, supporting them financially. Somebody has to pay for that, for this to happen, and they've done this. The basis of all this, though, it was pre-existing studies, laboratory analysis, which we found out it was existing in Europe and in the US.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And you're advancing, as you say, the scientific base for the industry as well. You know, when you spoke to us on day one, I think what was intriguing for me was that there was a lot of themes coming through that you're very familiar with. You know, digitization, change, the power of the consumer, the environmental thing. These are all issues that you've been dealing with inside the European Tissue Symposium now for some time, really, aren't they?
Yeah, the European Tissue Symposium was founded in 1971. Of course, the role at that time was not so wide, but then, as you know, by the time passing, the business is becoming more complicated, more complex. The complexity levels have nothing to do with compared to what was back in 1971. However, you also have more advanced tools. It's all about doing the right thing and putting the right things in the right place and the right resources, and that's how we're challenging.
So as much as you've changed and the industry has changed, there's a bright future for both the symposium and also for the industry.
I think so, and I think that the future for the tissue industry is very good because the news are good, because people are learning more and more, and they use around the world, and they use paper in their everyday life. So as long as they realize this, yes.
Now, you've been chairman of the symposium since June 17, coming up for 2 years now. What lies ahead for the future for the symposium itself?
Yeah, now we're going to focus mostly on the sustainability issues, because we've realized that the world doesn't know enough of the great progress that is done by our members who keep investing in this area, obviously also for the cost fine-tuning issues, and they keep investing in order to be more sustainable and produce products with less fiber, less energy consumption, and basically better quality. And one thing that everybody should remember is that the production of the tissue products, especially in Europe, at least for our members, it's either coming from recycled fiber or renewable forestry. So we don't because some people think, oh, you guys cut trees. No, this is not the case. This is absolutely.
I love it.
nothing.
Smart and
Okay.
sustainable
Good.
strategies,
Yeah.
and that's the
And we're
theme for
gonna follow
Tissue
that
World
way.
this year.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
good.
A real pleasure, Fanis, having you in the studio,
You're
sir.
welcome, Michael.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good.